To the ongoing controversy over speed cameras, Victoria Police has embarrassingly now been forced to shut down every fixed camera in the state. That after the discovery of another faulty unit. Nationally, these cameras rake in hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, hundreds of millions. Now, we've always been told they're all about saving lives. This morning, the criticism about speed cameras is growing.
Over recent years, more and more of these money-making machines have popped up around the country. This one is hitting the jackpot, booking 4 speeding drivers in just 12 seconds.
I feel the government is using this system just to collect more revenue. And it hasn't done a thing, not one little thing, to help the road accidents.
At Sydney's Spit Bridge, there are now 3 speed cameras in the space of just a few hundred metres. And if you're unlucky enough, you can be booked twice in just 15 seconds. This is the biggest money maker in Australia. In 2001, it caught a speeding driver every 8 seconds, earning the government $20,000 a day, or $7.3 million a year.
Accidents still occur, but they don't necessarily occur where the camera is. So people might slow down when they approach the camera and then speed up afterwards. So the accident happens a few miles or a few kilometres down the road. In Canada and British Columbia, speed cameras were recently outlawed, and there's been no ill effects in terms of the numbers of fatalities.
Now, one strong critic of the way speed cameras are being used is Federal Transport Minister and our Acting Prime Minister, John Anderson. He's in our Melbourne studio. Mr. Anderson, thanks for joining us. Can we start on these fixed speed cameras to begin with? Faulty cameras and fines have become a headline issue in Victoria this week. Premier Brack says he has full confidence in the system. As Federal Transport Minister, what's your position?
Well, my position is that the inappropriate use of speed is obviously very dangerous, as are certain other driving practices, and cameras have an important role to play. However, I've been warning for a long time that motorists are becoming very cynical about the way they're used because they think they're set up in places that are designed to raise revenue, not save lives, and I hear that everywhere. There's another concern that reinforces that view, that it's more about raising revenue than it is about saving lives, and that's that the tolerances are set so low that you can't even be sure that your car speedos are accurate enough. The concern that I have is that if you breed cynicism, and in particular, if you break down the relationship of trust between law enforcement officers, the police, and the community, on the part of otherwise law-abiding citizens who think they're being made into criminals when there's no sound reason, it's counterproductive. Road safety is too important to breed cynicism about.
But do you suspect that state governments are using the system more to raise revenue than encourage safe driving?
Look, in some cases, I have to say, I do have that suspicion, and there ought to be some real efforts to reassure people that that is not the objective, if it isn't the objective. You know, you hear it too often.
Yeah.
I drive in every state, I am driven in every state, I meet motorists everywhere in my line of business, and I can tell you that while there's overwhelming support in Australia for decent speed control, because people do believe it's a killer, there is also an extraordinary degree of cynicism about the use of fixed cameras and the belief that they are about raising revenue. This is a democracy, and if people have those concerns, I can tell you I think that's inappropriate.
Do you think, though, that the states are trying to frighten people off the roads, partly through the use of speed cameras?
Well, if they are, they shouldn't be. And it varies from state to state. I mean, for nowhere have people been more cynical than in Victoria, I have to say. You know, I mean, an ordinary motorist is a decent, law-abiding Australian citizen who doesn't feel that it's appropriate for them to almost be branded, simply by virtue of being a motorist, as somebody who's fair game and you know, likely to be presumed guilty almost before they're proven innocent.
Just finally, overnight we've got forecasts that the government's coffers are going to be overflowing with cash in the lead up to